So I'm Derick Rosenbaum, um, from Phoenix, Arizona. I was born in Minnesota. Grew up most of my childhood in Florida, and then went to high school in Michigan, college back to Minnesota. Taught a year in Minnesota. Came down to Arizona. Been here 7, 8 years. Uh, 6 of the 7 of the years. So basically all of it for the last couple months, I've worked at Eagle College Prep with special needs kids. Um, and then recently worked for a payroll company for like 2 months, and then currently working with a courier service. So that's a little bit about me, where I grew up. Uh, really enjoy sports, uh, watching it. Need to start playing it here again soon, but grew up playing basketball a lot in high school and college. And um, uh, also, I've like in the doing stuff in the for the church, like singing in the choir. I enjoy singing. Um, Helped out with Sunday school before. Help out most summers at the high school ALA for their sports camps. Um, they'll have basketball camps and stuff there, so doing those kind of things on the side.
Nice. So involved in a lot of things. That's cool. It's cool that you do those things. So I want to ask you what was the main decision, or why was the main reason you decided to book in with me and go through this?
Saw one of your videos, and you talked about a lot of our like physical and mental well-being is starts with a thought in our mind, and then figuring out from that thought, like, where's that thought coming from? Why am I thinking that way? Um, and start asking yourself those kind of questions instead of just saying, I'm just going to go on the next diet. I'm going to go, and do something for a week and it doesn't last because you haven't really answered the deep questions or the things that have been bothering you for so long, and you just kind of leave it in there when uh like you don't get to the root of the problem, so you're just trying different things and it doesn't last very long. uh but when you actually like figure out the thoughts that are going into your mind, why am I not exercising, why am I not eating healthy, um and then you find parts of the day when those thoughts are really strong, and then you figure out, well, maybe it was my job, or maybe it's my relationship with this person, or maybe it's this that's causing all those anxieties and stresses and causing you to eat more and causing you to be to feel negative about yourself. um, and I just thought that was a different approach than what other people might say, to look at the thing that affects us the most, which is our mind.
Mm-hmm.
Get our mind right first, and then everything else will fall into place once you have those questions in your mind answered.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So what was
that's why I wanted to.
happening?
I like that. Yeah.
What
Sorry.
was happening what was happening in your life at the time that you decided to try something new?
I had just left a job that I had been working at for 6 years. Uh, Felt kind of lost. Um, where what was I gonna do without the the familiar faces that I've seen or the kids that I've worked with? Had to get used to a whole new group of people, different schedule, different responsibilities. And when those changes happen and I get anxious or nervous, I tend to eat or just, you know, push myself away or go hide, kind of thing. Like I don't want to talk to people because all I can think about is like all these new changes that are coming up, and it just bogs my mind down. I just feel like the best thing to do is to stay away from people, which is not, but that's what the lies that are told to you by your mind, by the devil, whoever, whatever you want to think through your sinful nature.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so just I think going through that big change for me in my life with a new job really got me nervous. I started eating more and just not taking care of my body, not praying to God first and foremost, and um, just got away from some of the things that I've been rooted in for a long time as a kid, um, that I simply just ignored and let fear and anxiety take over.
Sure. How else were you feeling, at this point?
Um, Besides anxious and fearful, I was angry at myself. Um, I wanted to blame people or things, and I blamed God a lot. And I'm sure I still do at certain points. I've really tried to uh, not have those thoughts anymore. Like I've been really praying about that. But then I know in the end it's not him. But that's what what my sinful nature tells me. Like Derick, you're doing everything correctly, and it has to be other people's fault. It has to be God's fault. It has to be other things' fault. Um, so I think just I was also feeling very selfish, self-absorbed. Um, Woe is me, pity, asking for pity. Like those are all wrong feelings. It's just like at the time you justify it in your mind that this is correct. This is how you're supposed to be feeling. This is how you're supposed to be feeling as an adult. There's just going to be a lot of different stressors, and you're just going to be angry a lot all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to realize that like you make you make that choice. You're choosing to react to that situation that way. You know, if it's your job, I'm choosing. And you're choosing to react that you're going to hate your job, then you're going to hate your job. You know, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
starting to realize that you you need to go in with the mindset if you're going to do something, then have the right mindset. Say I'm going to accomplish it. Instead of saying I'm not going to accomplish it. Because when you keep saying I'm not going to accomplish it, you're not going to accomplish it.
Right. Which makes sense.
Right, which makes sense. But your mind's telling you like, well, this is the truth. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can't accomplish it, and that's what every other force, the devil, the world, they want you to believe that.
Yeah. So what were some of the things that you did to try to fix this beforehand?
Uh, just I don't I don't know. I mean, nothing really. Like I just thought me coming home, being on my phone, looking, uh, or playing video games. Um, yeah, I don't even know what else really. I mean, watching Netflix, something like that. You know, like that was what I thought was how you like what you do. Like you come home and that's just what you do. That's just what the world says. Come home, treat yourself, do lazy things, and it's like, well, there's still 6 hours before I go to bed. Like, I could call somebody and have a conversation, or I could go meet somebody in person, have a conversation. I could go to a Bible study. I could uh, go out for a walk, like, and you can still come home and watch a Netflix show. It's not, but you don't need to watch 12 episodes, you know. You can come home and watch 2 episodes and then do the dishes, do your laundry, do something productive, read a book, It doesn't, you can still get your electronic time in, but then, instead of watching 6 hours, you watch 2 hours, and the other 4 hours you go out for a run, you call somebody, you read a book, something that in the long term will hopefully help you.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think those things didn't work? Just trying to find comfort in the things at home.
Because it's material things. It's, the shows are just meant to entertain you, and then when the entertainment's over, you still have your negative thoughts, and so yes, it's not wrong to watch and to play that stuff, but if you truly want to make a change, like, maybe you spend an extra 20 minutes in the kitchen cooking a better meal, or you spend an extra 30 minutes going out for a walk, because those are proven with science that, like, you eat better foods and you exercise your body, it releases certain chemicals that make you feel good, and feel good about yourself. Whereas they say screen time and sitting on your butt, like, over time, your brain starts, not firing correctly and not releasing the chemicals, and all of a sudden you start getting weighed down, and it just feels like every little thing is just a huge thing. Every little detail of your life is massive when it shouldn't be. Like the simple thing of grocery shopping, that should not be a hard thing to do. But if you're not active and you're not, uh, looking to make changes, it can be a horrible, experience, because you have to get up and go do something. You know what I mean? So, you don't want those little things to be so big, because they're not. Those are just supposed to be, like, those are supposed to be easy activities. If we're being honest, those are supposed to be easy activities. Like 45 minutes to go walk around the store, like, that's not hard,
Yeah.
and just pushing yourself to just get over the hump, and just make, and then when you're going to make the commitment, just to make the commitment and just do it, and then,
Mm-hmm.
like, cry through it if you have to. I don't Did I share that with you? I know we're being recorded, but did I share that? Did I share that story with you?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, so, and maybe we can use this in the clip. Sorry, I know I just went off randomly, but there was a verse that said, those that reap, no, those that sow in sorrow will reap with joy. And I was like, what does that mean, to sow in sorrow? And it said, and I just Googled that, and the first article that came up, the guy said, um, if a farmer is going to go out and, do his field in the fall time, he has to do it. Otherwise, when winter comes, he can't plant his seeds. And then springtime comes, he has no food. So he has to go out there whether he wants to or not, and he has to plant it, like, because that's how he's going to survive. So it says when you sow in sorrow, that means maybe you're going through a difficult season in your life, but even if you know, like, even if something is hard to do, like let's just say going to the grocery store is just a hard thing to do because you have extra weight, you're not moving, you're tired all the time, whatever. Sometimes you just have to cry through an activity. Maybe that's going to the gym for an hour and it sucks and you hate it and you cry, but like you got through it, and then you can reap with the benefits that come with that later. I think that's the thing. It's just like, yeah, even if people see you, maybe you're out on the sidewalk and you're just crying because you're trying to exercise. Um, like that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to have that emotion. It's okay to be uh, sad as you do something, but still staying committed to it and finishing it. So
Yeah, it's okay. That's a good point to make. And sometimes it is really hard.
yeah, and our emotion might be we're just gonna cry because it
Yeah.
hurts that bad. So.
Yeah. Letting yourself do that.
Mhm.
So, in all honesty, you've told me what things were like. What were your thoughts on doing any type of coaching or something like that?
Um, at first, it's just a pride thing. Um, you don't think you need help, and then sometimes you think the advice that even the coach gives you, like you're like he doesn't understand. That's what your mind is telling you. Like they don't they don't get it. They don't. And I mean, once you just take a step back and take away your pride and just say like they're not here to like make you feel bad. They understand the pain that you're going through and they want to help you through it, and so just getting rid of the pride and saying, I think my dad taught me the best lesson. He just said, Derick, admit that you have a problem and just say it every day. I'm overweight, or I'm lazy, or I have this issue or this issue, and just admit it every day, and that you need help and that your life is not manageable on your own. Like anybody can say that. Like really, like you're like just to get to that point to say like my life is not manageable on my own, and you need that support. And then just realizing that, like, and telling yourself, when you tell yourself that you're not in control, then you give it to God to
Hmm.
put it in control. You tell God, I'm not in control, my life is unmanageable. And then when you succumb to that and then you realize that you don't have control, you actually are happier because then you don't have to worry because God's in control.
Yeah.
Like, and that's when the coach can help with too. I'm not, and then God's not, and then it's just not God himself. Like God uses coaches, and
Oh, and God's a huge part of it. You're absolutely
yeah,
right.
he,
Hmm.
he uses the resources, and that's why using like you, like God has placed you, into my life at this time to help me. Like God knows what He's doing. God knows what people to put and what resources to put before you when you're ready.
Hmm.
You know, and when you've stopped doubting and you actually open up your ears and you listen a little bit. you know.
Yep. Yeah. I love everything you said. Exactly right. So what was the experience like then? Going through these calls with me and working through things. What was that experience like?
It was good. Uh, I liked the fact of and the using a journal and journaling everything down so that you can go back and look at it, and it's not one of those where you're just trying to remember everything to do. Like there's specific goals, there's specific steps involved. Um, and it's not just like it's just not a general like this is what you do. It's we you know you tell your story, and then you kind of customize it to fit like what we're going through, and so you might not use the same resource with this person you do it with me, because you listen and you try to interpret what best strategy or resources would be good for that person. So it's good that it feels customized, which is nice. It doesn't feel like here's just one blank paper and it
Yeah,
applies
yeah,
to everybody. So
sure,
yep, and that was
cool.
really good. And just um, your constant encouragement and the text throughout the week, and like just helping us stay accountable by um, checking in, and and just pushing sometimes when it's not comfortable, and still stepping in and saying, I know this is not a comfortable conversation, but like this is what we're going to talk about this, and then it ends up not being uncomfortable, but like just saying, there's going to be somebody out there that's going to be like, but like allow yourself to express things and say things that you want to share to other people, because when you open up to a coach, who's going to keep it confidential. Like you actually might be surprised the things that you uncover.
Mm.
Like by being way more open than you would be. Like I mean, share things that you think are inconsequential, and then your coach might be like, "Ooh, well, and that actually seems to be bigger a deal than you think it is."
Sure,
So
yeah.
I think you're good about that, about like just asking like probing questions. And so just the next person that, does it too, like don't be afraid to like say like everything, even though if it's uncomfortable, because you might find out that that was the thing that's bothering you, and once that gets taken care of, you can feel at peace again. So
Hmm. Oh, that's great advice. Thank you for that, for all of that.
mhm.
Appreciate it. So how do you feel now? I mean, how do you feel now as opposed to before after going through a lot of this?
I at first was just nervous all the time. And I'm still, and I mean, like the thing is, it's only been 2 months, but like I felt way more afraid with the first phone call. Like I didn't like like there just didn't seem to be anything towards the future. Like it just seemed really dark. Like it was like I didn't have really a steady, I don't have a didn't have a steady job. Um, I just felt like I couldn't tell anybody anything. I didn't want to share how I was feeling inside. Um, I thought people just didn't like care. They just didn't want to help. Um, and then now, like, starting to realize like the choices that I made for food, and how I would just go and buy box stuff that was frozen. And now I've been trying to, um, have some fruit or something for breakfast, having some like chicken for dinner, trying to make better choices that are a little more fresh and better for my body than a box full of frozen food. Uh, like tracking my calories on MyFitnessPal. I've woken up the past 2 weeks before my job starts, and I've said a prayer and I've done a devotion with God. Um, they're not monumental changes, but I can already tell that my days feel less stressful because I've set those little routines up for myself, and having that quiet moment with God before the day and filling my body with something nutritional, um, and then coming home and eating something more nutritional, and then not drinking sodas and just having like water when I come home. Like, my body feels so much less weighed down and stressed out.
Hmm.
And, and it's only been a couple weeks, and I my mind doesn't go so much to the negative thoughts anymore. And it's never going to be 100% no negative thoughts, but like the negative thoughts don't overwhelm me and cause me to like stand there in paralyzed fear. Like I can't move. Like I'm still nervous about this or I'm nervous about that, but it doesn't stop me from doing it. I just have those butterflies like you normally do, your normal anxious thoughts. Whereas before, my anxiety was causing me to like not even want to go out and hang out with people that I hang out with all the time, that I've hung out with for the past couple of years. And like, it's getting bad when you can't even like face people that you've always considered your friends, and
Mm.
you don't open up. So just little things like that, and just opening up to people and finding out that other people struggle with other things too, and that you're not alone. I think that's what a lot of people feel like, is that if they tell somebody that people are going to judge them. But what happens a lot is they'll tell you that they've been going through the same thing, or they'll tell you something that they've been struggling with for years. And before you know it, you have somebody that you can confide in. Um, and then you guys support each other, so our minds make it out to be worse than it actually is going to be, and our minds try to protect us and say this is the worst thing that can go wrong, when in fact that might happen one time in your life where the actual worst thing actually goes wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other times, yeah, not doesn't even come close. So I think
Hmm.
I've just been opened up to like just a lot more peace. Like I just don't feel as nervous about each day. Whereas before I would just wake up and just dread each day, like doing each day. And now I kind of wake up being like, you know what, it's another day. I can be thankful. I can thank God that I woke up. I can thank God that I have a job to go to, and that I can praise and thank Him by eating healthier and um, moving around a little bit more to make sure that I'm a healthy person that He created me to be.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Great. Lots of
So
awesome stuff.
yep.
Thanks for talking about it.
Yeah. No, thank you for again letting me do that. It's kind of fun to share some stuff, and
Yeah.
just yeah, like because you just don't know like you, what people hear, what choices they'll make because of it. So
Hmm.
yeah.
So now looking forward, what are you excited for? What are you looking forward to in your life?
I'm looking forward just to having consistency. Um, like having a schedule, like just having a schedule and then abiding to that schedule. So like that means waking up early, but having in my mind what I want to do before work and then after work, and then like scheduling that in and then just staying committed to that. Because the longer I create better habits of saying at this time I'm going to read a book, at this time I'm going to go take a walk, this time I'm going to say a prayer. Like, the more things that you have to do for the day, um, I don't know, the more you feel fulfilled for that day, and the more that you don't have time to think about yourself, and then those negative thoughts don't come in as much because you're busy doing this and then this and then this and then this. And then by the time you go to bed, you haven't even thought about I'm an idiot or those things that you would think before because you didn't schedule anything. You just sat there for 5 hours and did nothing, and all those thoughts flooded in. So just staying consistent and staying busy, and even busy might mean watching Netflix or doing something like that, but you've scheduled that in as this hour I'm going to do this, and then you get to sit down and actually enjoy that time because you scheduled it in,
Hmm.
and that was already instead of just coming home and saying, okay, I guess I'm just going to watch this, I guess, and then you have no plan, and then all of a sudden, you just sat there for 6 hours and did nothing. So I think just for me in the future, I just want to be consistent, like every day, have something after work, have something before work, just things to like look forward to throughout the day. And just get you excited for waking up each day and
Hmm.
living it.
Yeah. What are some of the other things that you are looking forward to filling up your schedule with?
Um, I would like to do get a gym membership. Um, I was just looking. There's Planet Fitness for $10 a month, and it's like it's pretty cheap. So like having those kind of activities, I really would like to join a Bible study, and I've asked the pastor already. He said that they're coming up to their summer schedule, so those things disperse. But after the summer, they usually start back up again. So joining a Bible study, um, maybe do that once a week, twice a week, depending on what's available. Um, for me right now is waking up early to do devotion and have a breakfast. Um, and honestly, I just really would like to connect more with people that I went to school with, um, family members, people that I love very dearly, and like just make more time for conversations with people on the phone.
Hmm.
Because I don't think people understand how much, and I shouldn't say that, but I'm just because I don't know what people think, but I've gotten so much good like energy and just happiness after I talk to somebody that I know, and family member, friend, whatever it happens to be. It just connecting, and especially like you just can't replace a 15-year-old friend, like 15 years of friendship. Um, and I just think like doing that kind of stuff more, and then also getting to like know more people. But I think you know I keep going back to the Netflix and stuff because this is my life, and this is the stuff that I've chosen to do. But like I can literally talk to somebody for an hour instead of watching another two episodes. Like those are kind of choices that I want to make, where I choose people and I choose like relationships over like video games and TV. Like
Hmm.
because once they're gone, I mean, they're gone for the rest of the time here on Earth, and it's like I want to make you want to have more memories and more chances to like hear from them. Parents especially, like try to call my parents at least once a day, like because you never know when they could just be gone the next day, and like just to get as much time as with people that you love as you can. So
Yeah, it's a good thing to want.
yeah.
It's awesome.
So
So what would you say to people who are kind of putting off dealing with their frustrations and challenges and moving forward in life?
um well, my first thing is that I hope they can talk to somebody and find somebody that will listen and will support them. But that it's like, for me, my wake up moment was I had a huge panic attack, and like through that panic attack I realized certain things that started to scare me that were causing that panic attack. So even if that's what it takes for somebody to like realize that they need help, like I hope that if they go through that event that they're willing to like if God's talking to them through that, panic attack, that they're opening to listening. Because that's what it did for me. Like I had this panic attack and it almost felt like God just flooded my thoughts with all these things like, what about this? What about this? What about this? And it scared me that it's like, oh man, maybe I'm not, you know, as good as I think I am, like I need way more help than I'm letting myself realize. And whatever God's way of telling you how to, that this time to make this change, like just being observant and being aware of what's being said to you, and hopefully that it clicks and that you're able to make that change. Because that's what it took for me. It took me having a panic attack while I was driving to like
Hmm.
kind of wake up a little bit and realize like I need some help.
Sure.
So
Hmm.
yeah, and then just being willing to share with somebody. I know it's hard. Like I want to say the best thing because if you're not gonna change it, like then you know what I mean. Like if you never tell anybody, then it's never gonna change. Like if you want it to change, you need to probably write it down and then tell somebody so that it's visible there for you to see, and then somebody else knows that can keep you accountable.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I mean, it's futile effort at that point if you're going to try to do it by yourself. If you've tried it before and it hasn't worked, I don't know why it's going to work again. Like you need other people. It really is. It boils down to you just need other people.
You say that's the most important thing that helped in achieving success or getting you to where you are right now?
Yeah, you. Well, I mean, first, honestly, first of all, was me praying again to God.
Hmm.
That was the first thing I think, and then by me praying to God, it opened me to realizing like how important people like you are and what you're doing, and it helped me to open up to taking people's suggestions, because at first you're thinking I'm too proud, like
Hmm.
that's what goes through my mind. Like I don't need anybody's help. So my relationship to God, and then over time, like you just start getting different realizations. Your perspective changes. You know,
Yeah.
your perspective changes a lot when those things, when especially when you use prayer, um, get God get God's side instead of the devil's side or your own side. So
Hmm. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, that's number one for sure.
yeah, just you got to get that right first because nothing else. Because then everything else seems hard. But then when God's with you, it honestly everything just feels lighter. Everything seems easier to a certain extent.
Hmm. Yeah. Amen. That's how I'd love to end it right there. That's such a good point that you're making right there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I
Thanks.
hope it's good stuff, I guess. I don't know.
This is
I ramble
no,
a
man.
lot,
This
dude.
is
Go ahead.
no, this is perfect. I really appreciate you opening up and letting other people hear this because, like you said, you never know who's gonna hear this and be able to apply it to themselves and get themselves out of somewhere they don't want to be.
Right. Right. Exactly. Um, yeah, thanks for letting me be on it. I appreciate it because like I said, it's not my cup of tea, but I appreciate everything that you did help me with. So I'm glad I could help you in that. So
Yeah. Hey, you're the man. I appreciate it
okay,
again.
yep.